Displaying your Lego is one of the best parts of the hobby. It's so satisfying to see a set that you spent hours building stand proudly on display. They just look so cool. But if they're not stored in a glass cabinet like this, they can get dusty after sitting out for a long time. And that is exactly what happened to this tower bridge that I got from Andy's Brick Shop recently. The set's in pretty decent shape overall, but there's some pretty bad yellowing going on in some places, and the set's also pretty disgusting. Not to mention it has a broken base plate. So I need to get this set cleaned up, refurbished, and restored to its former glory that it deserves. So in this video, I'll be walking you guys through the process of getting Tower Bridge restored, from disassembly to cleaning to parts replacement, all the way to rebuilding the set. It'll be about like half tutorial and half just documenting the process, but I thought it would be something interesting to share with you guys. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and restore Tower Bridge. So the first step in the process is disassembling so that I can wash it later. And ordinarily when doing something like this, I would take it apart in reverse order from the instructions, follow the numbered bags, and then put each numbered bag in its own little mesh bag so then I can wash each bag separately. That way the parts stay separate and it's easy to rebuild by the original numbered bags. But because this is a creator expert set from 13 years ago, there's no numbered bags. Which means I have to figure out how to separate this out on my own. There's no help coming from the instructions. So I think the best way to go about this is just to disassemble it by section, and then after that I can sort it by color after. So what I mean by that is like this side of the bridge will be its own section, the middle drawbridge will be its own section, this will be its own section, and then these I'll split probably the top, and then maybe by floor we'll see how many pieces are in each. And well, I will eventually have to worry about yellowed pieces. For now, I'm just cleaning them all. We'll worry about the yellowed stuff later. We'll take inventory once everything is clean. So let's go ahead and take this apart. And one last note, I will be taking apart this stuff in this tub, because this set is so gross, I don't want stuff falling on my floor. So we're going to take it apart in here. So that is one section of the bridge down and parted out. It doesn't show up too well on camera, but this base plate is really gross. That is why I'm parting this out to clean, and then also why I'm doing it in this container. The amount of pieces here isn't as much as I expected, so I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and take the two end sections of the bridge, part those out as well, since they are mostly made of the same pieces as the drawbridge section, so that's easy to combine. And then these will all go in a mesh bag together. The base plates and the larger pieces will be washed separately. So I'm going to go ahead, skip the time lapse this time, and just show you guys the finished product before I start cleaning. So I have those three sections done, and in one bag I have the larger pieces, including the road plates, which I also took out from under the tower as well. And then here is all of these smaller pieces from all of the road sections. And I just have this container here to fill up with some hot water, some dish soap to use to sanitize them, and then I'm going to scrub the base plates down separately. And then once that's done, I just have this towel ready so that way I can get the pieces drying, although I will have to move them somewhere else so that they can air dry for about a day or two. So I doubt you guys are interested in watching me scrub Lego pieces and let them soak for a while. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and then show you guys the next step. So here you can see I have the parts and the bags soaking underneath some warm water and soap. And then the base plates I just rinsed off separately, used some soap from here, put them on the base plates, rinsed them off, scrubbed them a little bit. Those came out pretty nicely. And these pieces I turned around in the soap quite a bit for a few minutes, and now I'm just going to leave them soak for a little bit. I am guilty of usually skipping the soaking phase, at least cleaning sets that I've owned for a while. Whereas for this set, since it's from an unknown source and was pretty dirty, I'm letting it soak after having scrubbed them down a little bit. So I'm just going to leave this here while I take apart the next section of the set. But I think it's cleaning up pretty nicely so far, so I'm going to go ahead and disassemble more of Tower Bridge. So I'm getting pretty far along in the process. Thought I'd give you guys a quick update. This little pile of stuff is things that I'm saving for last. As for the tower itself, I have taken off the top sections, the connecting bridge, and now we are left with just the kind of the main core of each tower. You can see the inside is completely hollow. It's kind of funny to look at. So this is the next step. I'm planning on taking this down one level at a time, maybe two, depending on how many pieces are in each. As for the rest of the progress, here you can see I have the roadways all drying here, and then these two large sections are all the tops of both towers, like the pointed bits on the top. You can see a little bit of gold right there, and I just have them separated with these paintbrushes I just had nearby. So these will need to dry for a day or two, but it's a good start, moving along nicely. So I have just started my third day of work on this Tower Bridge project. Thought I'd give you guys a quick update. So I have 2 bags ready to go be washed. This one is also ready to be washed, but I'm out of space for drying, so it's going to have to wait a little bit longer. This is the only part of Tower Bridge that is still together, like the support things, then the little cars. These pieces I thought were yellowed, but it turned out they really weren't, so I just took them out. That's the bin of yellowed pieces, ones I'll have to replace, but we'll get to that after everything is clean. Here I have some pieces drying out. Here is space for those 2 new bags, and then a fresh batch is drying over here. As you saw, a little bit more is drying here, and then I just threw the dry pieces into whatever containers I can find. So the process is progressing nicely. I'm going to go ahead and wash these 2 sets of pieces. This one's just going to hang out, and then these have to come apart. And like I said, we'll get to the yellowed stuff once everything is apart, because I still have to go through those white pieces. Then we can worry about ordering some new pieces. So just one last quick update before we finish this stage of the project. Here you see all of the yellowed pieces that I sorted out. So you can see there are a lot of windows, a lot of these pieces, a few bricks. This is probably where the yellowing is some of the worst, although the lighting's pretty bad in here, so it's hard to see, but there you go. A lot of fences, a lot of just smaller pieces, a few broken gold studs. And I've just gone ahead and made a list of all the pieces that I need to replace, so that way I can see what I have to order. And if I can pull any of these from my own parts collection, that's all sorted out over here and around the room. I have 2 bags left to clean. This is the base of the bridge. And then this is these support thingies along with the cars that come with it. So I just got these 2 to wash. There's some things finishing drying in the back behind the table. Otherwise, we're almost done with this stage of the project. So, well, the last of that is cleaning and drying and all of that. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the fun part of this, which is digging through my parts collection and finding out what pieces I have so that I don't have to order them. So from this one we just need 9 wedge plates, and this doesn't look too hard. There is white everywhere in here. So here's the 9 we need. You can check this one off the list. And I'll just use this weird little container thing I have to store them. 10 studs is next. This also shouldn't be too bad. And 1x1 plates are also conveniently in here. So these are all of the pieces that I had laying around in my collection, along with some that I had taken out that I realized actually aren't that bad or not yellowed at all. So it's a decent chunk of pieces, but compared to all the ones that I have to replace, small number. So to Bricklink we go. So I realized I don't exactly have enough containers to put all the pieces in, and I don't want to use that many Ziploc bags to put all of these pieces away before building it up. So what I've started to do is just take off the pieces from the towels. I can rebuild the base section as I already have, and I'm in the process of rebuilding most of the lower tower, and I'm just doing that first, that way I can clear up some pieces and then sort out the rest later. So it's been a few days since I last did any work on Tower Bridge, just a few seconds for you, but days for me. And I managed to get this far in the rebuilding process without any of the pieces I needed. And I wound up ordering pieces directly from Lego where I could. I think only 2 were unavailable from there. I had to get them from Bricklink. But I just went through Lego Pick-a-Brick just so that way shipping was covered all in one package, because shipping was really killing me having to buy from like 6 different Bricklink sellers. So I went with Lego Pick-a-Brick, and I just got the first order today. And this is about half-ish of what I need, probably a little more. But everything in here is mostly windows and a few plates. So it should hopefully, theoretically, cross your fingers, hopefully, be enough to get up to the top of the tower. If I just pull out the instructions here, it should be enough to get up to this point. I won't be able to build these because the fences haven't come in. These top pieces haven't come in, and I don't have the fences for the bottom either. But I should be able to get the tan part of the towers done with this piece order. So I'm going to go ahead and keep building. So just a little update for you here. I have this tower built up to this point, and then the other one over here I'm just working on and getting it to that point as well. Just decided to do these at separate times, make it a little bit easier. But as I was putting this tower together, I had this clip here snap almost in half, just cracked right down the middle. Never had that happen before, but thankfully I have a bunch in my recently sorted organizing trays. So progress has been made. I have each tower completed to the point right before you attach the upper deck part of the bridge. And speaking of those, I have been able to build it this far, and this is as far as I can get without my second pick-a-brick order coming in, because I need a lot more of these fences. But speaking of orders, I did get in my single bricklink order, and that involves the 2 shields for the bridge. This is a beautiful piece now that I see it in person. And I also got some pieces to build towers. So for you, seeing the next part of the bridge completed will be just a few seconds, but for me, I'm gonna have to wait a few more weeks for the next batch of pieces to come in. So I got my second pick-a-brick order in. You can see we have the large fences for the upper bridge part, pieces for the towers. I also got the base plate in. The small fences are in here as well, so I can start building the actual road part, which means that this tower right here can finally be completed. I just need to build it. And here is the completed tower bridge. It took about a month for all of the pieces to come in, for me to clean everything, and for me to actually get it built, which isn't too bad of a time frame, I must say. And in total, I spent about $50 in replacement parts, both replacing the white pieces as well as ordering the shields and fixing that broken base plate. And by fixing, I mean buying another one. So $50 extra on top of the $80 that I spent initially. So $130 for this thing in total, which I don't think is too bad of a price for something that is this massive. And here are all of the pieces that I replaced. You can see a lot of fences, a lot of windows, a lot of pieces in here. And I think replacing them really did help to brighten up Tower Bridge, especially on the top here, along the upper bridges, and even along the lower bridge parts here. The brighter whites really shine through and help to make Tower Bridge just so much better than it was when I bought it over a month ago. These brighter whites just look great, and there are still some pieces that are a bit yellowed, like these grays are definitely not in top shape. But it's a bit harder to tell that they're yellowed than it is with the whites, since the whites just turn yellow, whereas this just kind of turns to a different shade of gray. It doesn't bother me too much. If I ever wanted to sell it, it probably would cost me some of the value, but I think it looks pretty good, at least to me. The whites were really what I'm concerned about, and I think it looks great. I am so excited to finally have this build complete, and now I will struggle to find a spot to display it. And I am very glad that I was able to take you guys on this journey with me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me restore Tower Bridge to its former glory. If you guys enjoyed watching this process, a like is very much appreciated, really helps the video out. And you can also leave a comment down below. Have you guys ever gone through a process like this, restoring an old Lego set? If you have, I want to hear about it. Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys really enjoyed this video, definitely consider subscribing and turning on notifications. That way you never miss when I upload a new video. And that will about do it for this video today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.